Okay, here we go. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Nicole Martin and I'm the Chief Empowerment Officer of HRBoost LLC, based right here in the suburbs of Chicagoland, but we serve businesses all across the region here. And I'm so humbled to be reached out to by Enterprise Magazine. I understand that many of you are curious about how I was inspired to start my own business. I can tell you that I'm the accidental entrepreneur. I'm somebody that didn't ever wake up a single day in my life saying, I'm going to run my own business. I simply just jumped ship after the last recession in about 2010. And it came simultaneously as I became a mother and also when the market was down. But I was never an HR professional in transition. I was an HR professional on a mission, which was I was fortunate enough to build the best place to work from scratch, working under an entrepreneur after being in the field for a number of years. Started out in big corporate world, but jumped ship after 6 years and then worked in the middle market and built HR department after one, after the other, until I learned that a CFO looked at my department as an overhead department. And I said, you like metrics, I like metrics too. How about best and brightest? $100, non-for-profit, let's get some metrics and let's play too. No pun intended. And we hit the ground running, and next thing you know, the business that I worked for, the last in-house employer, was a best and brightest company to work for. And I was exhilarated through that journey. I learned a lot about culture, a lot about people, and I really got to feel firsthand how important it is that people that work for you have a handprint on what it is that you're creating. They have a feeling in their heart that this is something that they ultimately can bring their gifts to, and it's something that they're making a contribution and effort that reaches far beyond themselves. And when you can bring that to the reality of the feeling that you bring to your workforce, well, that's something that's, I don't know, priceless. Unreplaceable. And you think that it's magic. Actually, back in the day when I was in-house, I used to think that it was magic. But then I left and I was on a mission, like I said, to find a business that wanted to build another best place to work. So I was a consultant, and what's interesting is that I never had the vision that I would have a bunch of people working for me. And today I have a number of people that work for me, boosters, and I'm humbled by the fact that they join my team and that they embody our vision, which is to bring joy and purpose to people through their work. Imagine that. And not only do we want to bring it to the CEOs we serve, but the people that work for those CEOs and all the people on my team have the right to joy and purpose through their work as well. So when I can say that it was back in 2010 again, and I walked in and I did not have that vision for it to be the business that it is today, but I was speaking on a stage back then, and a woman who ran a national brand came up to me. She said, Nicole, you're leaving the company that you work for? And I said, yes. And she says, well, what's the name of your company? And I said, oh, I have to have a name for my company? And she said, of course, you're in the program book. Send it to me tomorrow. And I thought, all right. I'll get that to you tomorrow. And I went back home and I just looked in the dictionary, I was searching for words. I had no vision again, had no idea what would I name my business. And ultimately I read the definition of boost, not that far from A to B. So I didn't get that far into the dictionary of the alphabet, but I essentially said boost, to bring enthusiasm from every angle, from behind, below, or diagonally, even from the depths, enthusiasm. That's boost. And I thought, that's what I want to do for businesses. HRBoost. Next thing you know, you search the domain, you search the .net, you search the .org, you lock them all in, bam, just like that, HRBoost was born. And that's how it came to be. So I was inspired ultimately to have a brand that represented me, myself, and I guess, but I certainly didn't imagine it to be the business that it is today. And when we talk about the true treasure of all enterprises being employees, I can assure you, I believe in the talent emergency. The talent has won. Long ago did they win the talent war. And ultimately, every single human being that is skilled talent, they're going to choose whether or not they work for you or anyone for that matter. In fact, I think the biggest threat right now will be the freelancer. 50% of talent's going to actually become a freelance individual. I think by the year 2027 is what they're forecasting. And if you think about that, then ultimately the biggest competition is the open source talent framework that we're building now and that we're all part of. So when I think of the people who ultimately joined me, and are part of my team, I know and believe that they truly believe in our vision and that they ultimately feel, like I said, their handprint on what it is we're building at HRBoost. And they know that they ultimately will affect our ability to stay alive through even right now, this pandemic, and rise above it, still with joy and purpose on the other side. So every enterprise today, they really do have to use that HR strategy, but it's much more than that. It's a human strategy, which is, what do I want to do today? What did I wake up for? What makes me feel alive? How do I take these two hands, this heart, this mind? How do I connect it all? And how do I put it to work? Can I put it to work in your business? Is your business my intellectual playground? And the question is did businesses put out that culture invitation? And then furthermore, do they have the framework to hold it up so that it's real once the person stays there and camps out for 90 days or 6 months or 12 months? Is it real? And I think that that is truly an HR strategy in terms of the framework of what we do best at HRBoost. When I think of how we fulfill the needs of businesses, it was a myth back in the day that, and I say it's a myth because I believe it to be a myth, but it was maybe more of a fact back in the day, which was even when I went to grad school, any business with 100 employees or more would need a full-time HR professional. And I just look at that and say, wow, that was a fact not that long ago, and it's a myth. In reality, every business deserves HR day one, employee one. And I believe they deserve not just tactical HR, but strategic HR. And what do I mean by that? Well, a lot of the things that actually drive revenue in your business have a lot to do with the employee. For example, what is the competency that drives revenue in your business? Why, right now, amidst everything that's going on, are people going to look outward to your business and say it's worth it to go to work today? And in some cases, the essential businesses are really feeling a threat right now, given the shelter at home. They're facing a threat of whether the employee chooses to come to work. And so that individual empowerment that people are going to be feeling is something every business needs to be ready for. And the biggest opportunity right now for business owners is not necessarily to think about how they're going to keep just their business alive, but already getting ahead of it and preparing for when we all come back to work and we're not in the homes like you're in my 3-season room right now, but we're back in the businesses working side by side and rubbing shoulders basically. And COVID-19 is not something that's just going to disappear, as we all know. We have to get ready for the anxiety that people are going to feel. So I would advise that in order to keep growing your business right now, you have to come back to your heart and you have to engage your heart with your mind. And then we have to remember how we make people feel. And it's really how we make people feel that's going to make the difference right now. And if you're not showing up that way and you're just operating as business as usual, well, then I would bargain you're not going to have talent on the other side working for you. And that's something we know is real at HRBoost. We were working with businesses as they're going through the reactionary framework of furloughs and layoffs and what are we going to do right now? And that's been the last 30 days. But the next 30 days is really going to be about how do we get people feeling safe, let them know that we care about them as human beings, and how are we going to get them feeling productive again and less anxious. And so that means CEOs, every leader from wherever they are, they have the opportunity right now to lead. They have the opportunity to define and control something that they in fact can control, which is how they treat people and how they make people feel. When I think about what attributes to my success, passion. I think passion is something that all of us have. And if you think about the one piece of advice I would give somebody just starting out, go deep inside and ask yourself what you've always wanted, what you know you love to do, what you lose time doing, what you wish you could get paid money to do. A lot of people have these ideas and their dreams, but they never give themselves permission. I give you permission to do what you love to do every day. And the minute you do what you love to do every single day, HR, I would call it workplace ministry. I've been doing it every single day of my life. That I've been working, from the age of 18. And I thank the human being that actually saw me at the age of 18 at the receptionist desk when I gave a presentation about all the H-1B visa people that were camping out in the fishbowl lobby. And he said, "You're my receptionist." And I said, "Yes." And he says, "You belong in HR." And I said, "What's that?" So just think about what it is that you do, who you are, what your gifts are, what makes you unique, and how can you make a positive impact right now with all your passion. And that, my friend, is what you should be doing. So good luck. And if you have any need for my enthusiasm, feel free to reach out. Nicole Martin, HRBoost.